Hi everyone, my name is Shelly Calvo and welcome to my kitchen. Today is going to be a special episode because we are going to start a journey together. But before I start with all my blah blahs, let me heat up my pan, fry the tofu so we can start rolling. I'm going to turn on my stove at medium and heat up my pan. Here in my pan right now, I have about 3 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. What I'm gonna do is fry Mr. Tofu. So what I used here is firm tofu. It's one package of the typical tofu that you can buy at a grocery store. Comes out this size, and I actually am using firm. So I'm gonna wait until my pan is hot and start dropping Mr. Tofu onto it. So Mr. Firm Tofu will be fried until golden brown. We're also going to season him with a little salt and pepper. There you go. So, while we are frying Mr. Tofu, we're going to start our blah blah. What we're going to do today is quite unusual because it's really a recipe that is not yet a recipe. We are going to build it together. Pretty much what I have here on my counter are ingredients that I just randomly pulled out from my fridge. So as we go along, you will actually see and learn about all the ingredients that I just randomly pulled out. I'm trying to make this fun for both of us. I was thinking about what to cook tonight, and you know what? I was just inspired to create something out from scratch. So here we are, you and me. It's going to be an interesting episode, and let's move along. It's time to rock and roll, guys. So, as I am frying Mr. Tofu right here, waiting for it to be golden brown, you know what? I started with medium heat, but I want to expedite the cooking process, so I'm going to go up to high. As you can see, I've already prepared all our ingredients for this particular episode. Everything's set to go. Mr. Tofu. I love tofu. Very inexpensive and good way to get that protein. You know, there's a number of ways to actually cook tofu. Don't think for a second that Mr. Tofu is bland. No, Mr. Tofu is interesting. So I'm gonna go ahead, I crank up the heat up too high because I want Mr. Tofu to cook so fast, okay? So what I did today is, like I mentioned earlier, randomly pulled multiple ingredients out of my fridge. So we have our typical ingredients. Of course, Mr. Garlic has to be present, and lots and lots and lots of garlic, right? So I have my garlic, my onions, my tomatoes. We actually have our celery here. Celery is the least favorite vegetable of my husband, but you know, I always find ways to incorporate it in the dish. So he doesn't know that there's celery inside it. Sometimes I even put it in our juice. I like to incorporate celery because celery is really healthy for you. And then we also have our seasonings here: oregano, basil, parsley, black pepper, and salt. We have our broth. We have our ground meat. And of course, the star of the night, we have our Swiss chard. Woohoo! So, if that's so random, I don't know anymore. It is very random. So, Mr. Tofu Atai is, I guess, showing some signs of browning. Yee-hee! You go, Mr. Tofu. You go. Yum. I like Mr. Tofu so much. Actually, my favorite salt and pepper tofu. That's my favorite. So, while we're trying to brown Mr. Tofu, maybe I'm starting to get impatient here. I'm going to start heating up my pan. While Mr. Tofu is browning, I'm going to crank up the heat. At medium, I am going to start heating up this pan. It's actually not a pan, it's a pot. But what I'm going to do is, I like to start with toasting our herbs. This particular recipe, I'm going to use dried herbs. So in this little bowl right here, I already incorporated 1 teaspoon of oregano, 1 teaspoon of basil, and 1 teaspoon of parsley. What I'm going to do is, without oil, this is just the pan, I'm going to heat up these dried herbs just to actually make sure to have the aroma and the flavors come out. Toast it. Toast the herbs. It's really a good practice to toast your herbs first, rather than dumping your herbs in the middle of your cooking process. Let me check our Mr. Tofu. I'm actually multitasking here right now. Mr. Tofu, look, it's turning brown. And guess what? I can eat Mr. Tofu this fried with just a dash of salt and pepper. And I could just dip it with like soy and vinegar. Yum. Yummers. Anyway, I'm going back to our herbs here. I gotta be careful not to burn the herbs. Toast it like too much. Right now, if you're here in my kitchen, you are going to be able to smell this beautiful, beautiful aroma of herbs toasting. I'm actually using medium heat right now to toast all these herbs. Remember, this is a teaspoon of oregano, basil, and parsley. 1 teaspoon oregano, 1 teaspoon basil, 1 teaspoon parsley. They're all dried herbs. Mr. Tofu is getting ready. Mr. Tofu, remember, I use firm tofu on this one. Now that our herbs is already toasty, we're going to start start with our cooking process. Super very easy cooking process. We're going to actually drizzle olive oil. I got distracted. I can't believe it. I have a little fan over there. My husband is watching me. I didn't even know it. But I'm gonna drizzle about 3 tablespoons of olive oil onto my pot. Come over here and join us. Stop watching me. My husband's a creepy guy. He's just quietly sitting on the stairs watching me. I almost screamed. Okay, this is mega multitasking. So, say hi to my super handsome husband. Right there, everyone. Okay, so at this point, my Mr. Firm tofu is already brown, golden brown. It's cooked. I am going to set it aside. Right there. But if you guys wanted to see how it looks like, it's like so. Yummers! Now, I'm going to set this aside and use it later. So, right now, I am going to toss my garlic. Guys, remember, I cook with a lot of garlic. This is 2 tablespoons of garlic. I gotta rush because you know what? My herbs are at the verge of burning because this guy distracted me. Holy crap, Lolo. Okay, so I'm gonna speed up the process right now. Garlic right there, onions right there. Sorry, I tossed the onions so fast. I just want to make sure I don't burn anything. But going back to Mr. Onions, the onions that I actually poured into my pot is about a cup of diced onions. So, you want to be my kitchen helper?
I'll just watch from here. Half a day.
Are you sure?
Yeah, thank you.
You can be my kitchen helper.
I'll watch from here.
So Hobby Dubs don't want to be a kitchen helper, but he will help later on and sample our dish. Okay? The dish that we're creating together out from scratch. Because, darling, I don't have a name for this dish yet so far.
Okay.
So what we're doing here is we're building a dish based on whatever I pulled out from the fridge. How interesting, huh?
That's very interesting.
So what I'm gonna do now is saute my herbs, my garlic, my onions until it sweats and the onions caramelize. Just a little bit. I almost burned.
I'm sorry. I should have yelled before I came downstairs.
That's fine. But what I'm gonna do right now, so what I did here is I put 2 tablespoons of minced garlic and a cup of minced onions. I use white onions. And now I am going to incorporate a cup of, don't tell my husband because like I mentioned earlier, this is his least favorite vegetable. What is it?
Onions.
No, I already put the onions inside. This is your least favorite vegetable.
Oh, celery.
Yes, it's celery, but don't tell him, right? I'm gonna dump the celery. It's about a cup that we're gonna incorporate, but hubby dear, you're not gonna taste celery later on.
It's healthy.
It's super healthy. I don't know if he's going to eat this, knowing that there's celery.
I'll eat everything.
Are you going to eat it?
Yeah.
Promise?
Promise.
Alright guys, you heard it. You guys are the witness. So, at this point, I'm going to caramelize everyone in the pot. And the usual, we clean as we go.
Let's introduce your friend.
Okay, well, you can introduce my friend.
This is our friend. It's our Fido before, but it's now become a decoration.
My husband.
Put it right here.
My husband. Honey Bear specifically put that guy right there as
Fido.
Oh, okay. I didn't even know there's a name for that guy. Fido. Okay. Fido right there to accompany me so I'm not lonely while I cook, you know, good concoctions for you guys. Now, there's a little caramelization that's going on. What I'm gonna do, my usual habit, right, is add a little bit of oil because I always do that as I go, right? After I add a little bit of oil, what's next? 1 cup of freshly diced tomatoes. Don't you love tomatoes, babe?
I really like. Very healthy for you.
Super. A tomato a day. What does a tomato a day do?
Can't recall. Can't remember what the healthy ingredients are kept with. Is it lysine or?
Lysine.
Right?
Lysine? Lysine, yeah. See, I still remembered what I learned.
Photographic memory.
Super.
Scary.
No, that's not even a photographic memory.
Oh, okay.
So I added a cup of tomatoes, freshly diced tomatoes. So at this point we have our herbs, which is oregano, basil, parsley. We have our garlic, we have our onions, we have our celery, and we have our tomatoes. What's next?
Next, the chard.
No, not yet. Our chard will be the last of it, but
It looks like ground meat. Oh,
ta-da! We are going to incorporate this next ingredient, which is
meat. Ground meat.
ground meat. Now, I am just going to use the term, the generic term, ground meat, because technically I want you guys to experiment in your houses and you can use whatever kind of meat you guys want to use, whatever kind of ground meat. So you can actually use ground chicken, ground turkey, ground pork, or ground beef for this particular recipe. Remember, we are building this recipe from scratch. Did you see him scratch? Woo! Okay, so this ground beef or ground meat that I incorporated in my mixture here in the inside the pot is about 2 cups. So use 2 cups of ground meat. What kind of meat, babe?
Ground meat.
Ground meat, guys. It could be ground chicken.
Ground turkey. Ground pork. Ground lamb.
Oh, ground lamb. I didn't mention that. Ground beef.
Fish. Ground beef.
Ground beef.
Ground shrimp.
See, guys, don't you think it's more fun with him around here? Now I have a co-host. Usually, he just eats everything.
Not so.
Yes.
You eat 20%.
Yeah, pretty much. True. So at this point, I am actually mixing all of the mixture. I want to make sure that everybody marries together. Yummy already.
It smells great.
Oh, thank you, babe. Thank you. So, while we are at it, what I'm gonna do is already season this meat and our saute mixture with half a teaspoon of pepper. It's actually freshly ground pepper. I'm gonna dump it in the pot, like so, and a teaspoon of salt. Is that a lot of salt? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
That's right, because we're actually cooking a big batch here. Well, relatively big batch for the two of us. He's here because he cannot wait to eat.
I'll eat 70%. You can eat 30.
That works. You're twice my size. You're twice my size. I don't know. This whole video does not justify how slim I am. I don't know, but I look kind of chunky in the videos. It's probably how I position my camera. But you know what? It doesn't really matter because what's important is the recipes that I am actually sharing with all of you guys, right? So I'm gonna cover this guy right here. Wait until it cooks a little. And while we're cooking, what do you want to do, my love?
We can look at Fido or we can.
I didn't even know Fido is a name.
We can talk about what type of drink we're gonna have with a beverage, white wine, red wine, water.
That we can actually drink while we're eating this scrumptious feast that we are actually building from scratch. So we don't really have a name for it right now. I'm thinking maybe you guys can actually help me come up with a name after we finish this whole cooking process. Right, babe? Do you want to join the fun and participate? I really don't understand why I look so chunky in the video, but
You don't, not at all.
no, but in person, I don't think I.
It's the camera. The camera adds 10 to 20 pounds.
All right, so as we are cooking our ground meat saute, I have to check it from time to time. I want to make sure that the meat doesn't burn, but I do want to achieve a golden brown. I want to achieve a golden brown state of my meat, my ground meat.
Excuse me for a minute.
Oh, my husband said, excuse me. So, he's responsible to my music, my background music, and my lighting, my lights. He's always so excited when I come up with a really good concoction. Usually I don't tell him what I'm going to cook. So it's always like a surprise at the end of the cooking process. And I kind of love it. When I see his expression where he's kind of like, whoa. Especially when he starts eating. Oh my God. You should see his expressions. I'm not sure if he's really just out there to support me, but he says it's all delicious. Alright. We're almost there. We're almost to the point where we are You know, the point where I said I want the meat to be golden brown, we're almost in that point already. And when we reach that point, I'm going to incorporate the star of the show, our main ingredient. So, as I mentioned earlier, everything that I actually incorporated or I'm incorporating in this pot is just randomly I picked inside my fridge. So I just want to have fun today with you guys, of course. So before I move along, I am going to add a teaspoon of ginger powder. So I added the so-called healing spice, and it's ginger powder. Basically, the ingredients that I'm putting here, they're super easy ingredients. Super duper easy. I don't like to work hard in my kitchen. I don't want to think hard. So basically everything that I would share with you guys would be everything easy, everything reasonable, everything available. Because I want to keep it realistic, you know? We're all busy people, running our households, doing our other stuff. Most of us work. So keep it simple, keep it real, right? So this guy is almost done, almost reaching the golden brown point. While I'm waiting for the mighty gold browning, I'm going to clean as I go, put my used bowls onto my sink. We're almost ready to... It's almost done. It's so fast. This is one of the quick stuff. So anyways, the possibilities are endless when you're really cooking in your kitchen. Sauteing is just a basic cooking method, and you can actually use all sorts mix and match ingredients. Now I don't want my ground meat to be overdone because I really don't want it dry. So I want to make sure that it's still juicy. Before I move forward, I kind of want to show you guys how it's looking right now. So that's how our ground mixture is looking right now. We're ready to take the next step. So the star of the show is actually Swiss chard. Guys, this beautiful plant is the star of the show. What I'm going to do is incorporate 8 cups of Swiss chard onto my ground meat mixture. So, but before that, I want to show you how it looks like. This is Mr. Swiss chard. Isn't that gorgeous? Mr. Swiss chard reminds me of Christmas. Green and red. It's gorgeous, gorgeous plant. Can you imagine? This could be an ornamental plant in your house. Beautiful. Look, two smaller leaves. Mr. Swiss chard. Aw, I heart you. I heart you. So what I did is I chopped Mr. Chard already. I separated the stalk. See this? This one is the hard part of the chard, okay? I separated them from the leafy part. The leafy part, the reason being is because the leafy part wilts easily and cooks easily. So we kind of want to cook the stalk first. So I'm going to dump them onto my pot. Saute. Yummers! My goodness, it's beautiful. It's gorgeous. It's looking gorgeous right here. It's not just gorgeous, the smell, the aroma, it's making me hungry. Anyways, so what I'm gonna do is actually cook the stock first because they take longer to cook before I incorporate my leaves. Leaves that are easy to wilt. Now, the measurement for my Swiss chard is about 8 cups altogether. 8 cups. And that means 8 cups of combined stock that I already put in the pot and the leafy part. So, mix. Put it on medium heat. Mix. And mix more. See, I wish you could see what's going on in my pot, but here you go. Just so you can see that beautiful mixture right there. Gorgeous, right? So gorgeous. That color right there is incredible. Amazing. Saute. So, before I incorporate the leaves, what I want to do is add our next ingredient. This is actually beef broth. The measurement for the broth is 1.5 cups. I'm going to pour it right now into our mixture. Ooh. Delish. Yum. Look at that. It's yummy-licious. So yummy. I'm going to cover my pot for a moment. Let it simmer. Clean as I go. Really, we're almost done. So, guys, it's super simple. Even the recipes that I actually incorporated, the spices, they're readily available everywhere. It's like, this is kind of how I do remove the hard part. I don't want to waste these, guys. So what I'm going to do is, you know what? I'm going to toss it inside there. Let me just chop them up very quickly. All right. Let me throw them right there. chop them up. I don't want to be wasteful or anything. So let it catch up. And chop up our little little leaf that wilts fast. There we go. Once these guys already ready to go, I am going to dump the leafy part. But before I do that, I'd like to taste my mixture. I want to see how delicious it is. It's super hot. I don't want to burn my mouth. Man, this is so good. It's super good. It's incredible. Yum. Considering we're creating this from scratch, it's a new recipe. Wow, it's yummy. Now, honestly, the taste for me, it's superb. It's already perfect. I don't need to add any other seasoning. I don't need to kick up salt and pepper a notch. I don't need to do stuff like that. But like I always say, your palate may be different than mine, and you might want to kick up the seasoning a notch. Then it's up to you. So, but for me, it's just perfect. And it's gorgeous. You know, it's beautiful. I love the colors. You know what? The taste of the celery is gone. It's just, it married into the whole mixture. My husband can eat this for sure. It's almost ready, guys. What I'm gonna do is cover it. Simmer it for about 2 more minutes. Make sure that our Swiss chard stock is cooked, but not super duper cooked, you know. Like I always say, I like a little crunch in my vegetables. I don't like to overcook the vegetables. Plus, I like it where I preserve the nutrients of the vegetables. When you overcook your vegetables, nutrients go bye-bye. Now chard, the chard family, guys, there's actually a lot of variation. So I kind of use this one with the red stalk, but sometimes it's yellow stalk, sometimes it's cream. So it's up to you, whatever you want to use. Now we're almost there. I just want to remind you guys, I'm cooking this on medium heat. Now I'm going to dump the star of the show, Mr. Chard, our Swiss chard. I'm gonna dump the leafy part of it because the stalk is already inside the pot. Every single Swiss chard piece matters. Nobody needs to be left behind. So what we're gonna do is mix. Look at that. We're almost done. To be honest, I just need to cover this, turn off my heat, voila, it's done. Voila, it's done, baby. Wow, Oh my goodness. I'm gonna show you how this looks like. Guys, before I cover the pot, I want to show you how it's looking right here. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Woohoo! It reminds me of Christmas and it makes me happy. So, I am going to cover this guy right here. And I am going to turn off my heat. Like so. And we're done! We're finished, guys! Isn't that so easy? Amazing! Now I am going to clean as I go. So I leave it for a good minute just to make sure that all the steam inside cooks the leafy part of my Swiss chard just a little bit. I open it, I mix it, and guess what we're gonna do? I'm going to transfer it in a nice serving bowl just so I can show you the finished product. Come a bowl ready. So I'm going to transfer Mr. Chard mixture right here in my serving bowl. Woo, hoo, hoo, hoo. Look at that. It's gorgeous. It's not just gorgeous, it smells so good. I'd like to show you guys our finished product.
Enjoy Stingray music free on your mobile.
Oh, where are my mittens? I want to burn myself. Alright guys, here is our finished product. Isn't that gorgeous? Right there. So basically, I just topped the chard mixture with our fried tofu. Fried and seasoned tofu. I wish you can see it better. Can you see it, guys? It looks delicious. So, as I have mentioned earlier, we actually do not have a name for this particular recipe yet. So, perhaps you guys can help me come up with a name for this recipe. It's ground beef with Swiss chard and fried tofu on top. I'm sure you guys can help me come up with a really good name for the recipe. And I just want to say that thank you so much for taking this journey with me, and I hope you enjoy it. And please leave me a comment, leave me a suggestion on what we should call our recipe together, and leave me some photo if you actually decide to try it. And I actually tried it. It's very delicious. And I guess I will just see you until the next episode. Don't forget, help me come up with a name for this particular dish. On that note, I wanted to bid everybody goodbye. I want to say hasta la bye-bye to every single one of you guys, and thank you so much for taking this journey with me.